What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the Opinionated Hippie, and this is part 12 of my reviewing and ranking Frank Zappa cover albums, other people covering Frank Zappa's music. And this album in particular, the one I'm talking about today, is the reason why I decided to do this sort of project to discover really interesting, really good, really exciting, really sort of eclectic Frank Zappa cover albums. I had not heard of this. I found out about it because I was trying to find new stuff to review that was a little more not just the same songs played by jazz bands over and over again, which is there's a lot of that stuff out here. But what this is, Would You Like a Snack? This came out in 2021. It was put together in celebration of the 50th anniversary of 200 Motels. And the Idiot Bastard Son, which I'm assuming is a band, a Frank Zappa cover band. There was going to be a festival in 2021. It was canceled. And so all the bands and maybe others that were supposed to play, and maybe others, were invited to record versions of 200 Motels songs. And that's what this is. It's about an hour long. There are 18 tracks, a whole bunch of different artists. I think there's 18 different artists. I don't think anybody repeats. And they're all songs from 200 Motels. They're pretty much presented in the same order as the album. A couple of the songs are out of order, but I think those choices are done to maybe help the flow of the album. It's just a fantastic listen, and it suits 200 Motels really well because it's eclectic, it's weird. Every band is kind of bringing something a little bit different to the table. And so like every new song is just kind of a new musical experience, but that kind of works with the chaos of what 200 Motels was. So it works conceptually with the original album. And then, I mean, everything here I think works fantastically. I maybe have two complaints as far as choices made in the compilation, and then maybe one song that doesn't quite do it for me that I kind of really wish did. But what do we have on here? Because it's a fantastic listen. Opens up with something called 200 Messy Motels Overture / fully fraudulent instead of semi-fraudulent. And it's an overture. You get bits and pieces of a whole bunch of stuff that's going to come. You get a little bit of like rock energy. You get a little bit of chaotic energy. It's a fun song. It really is almost like a DJ sampling 200 Motels and just playing a whole bunch of different pieces of it. Some of them you're going to hear on the album, some of them you're not. Just really, really good, solid opener to kick off the album. That goes into Mystery Roach, which is kind of weird, little quirky horns doing it. Just kind of not like a regular, normal jazz band doing it, but maybe weird, funky little jazz band doing a little minute-and-a-half version of Mystery Roach. You get What's the Name of Your Group, which is starts off with like a weird electronic approximate intro, some weird electronic music. We're kind of all over the place on this. We get some of the operatic parts in here. Just this weird, I don't even know what to describe it. It's just this weird sort of electronic, eclectic version of this sort of 200 Motels idea. That's just kind of inserted right there early in the album. The fourth album is Would You Like a Snack? I'm pretty sure part of the melody is being whistled, or maybe it's just a keyboard that sounds like a whistle. Pretty straightforward version of this, but that's good because the melody is so strong, and we kind of need it after the chaotic What's the Name of Your Group experience. Lonesome Cowboy Burt, which is played pretty straight, but leaning into the weirdness of the song. Some nice terse guitar playing in the background. Do on the Newts We Got, just quirky, weird. Pretty much all the sort of classical stuff that we have on here. That's another song that jumped up quite a bit to fit this part of the album, but it works well because you have the really melodic Would You Like a Snake? Would You Like a Snake? Would You Like a Snack? You got a more straightforward song in Lonesome Cowboy Bird. After Do on the Nudes, you have the She Painted Up Her Face medley with weird interpretations of the interludes done over the course of by 3 different bands as we go through that sequence. So pretty neat. So Do on the Newts We Got is one of the weirder, quirkier things, but it sits really well on the album. So it works. A band called Hakan Tuna This is I'll say the name of all the bands at the end of this if you want to know who's on here. A band called Hakan Tuna does She Painted Up Her Face, and it's kind of really nice set of subtler, more keyboard energy, a little more sleeker, not as like big and like proggy as that Flo and Eddie version was when they did it live. Then they do Janet's big dance number. Then they go into half a dozen provocative squats. It's getting weirder by the time they get there. Then another artist, Valentina Chardelli, does Misterioso, and then another artist, the London Zappa Collective, finishes it all off with Shove It Right In, and the Shove It Right In is probably the biggest of them all and maybe the weirdest of them all. But it's neat how that like Shove It Right In trilogy is sort of broken up apart with 3 different artists. Then someone named Auntie Owl does Lucy's Seduction of a Bored Violinist and Postlude. I think there's an accordion in here somewhere. Yes, there is a violinist in there somewhere. This is a very fractured, it's like madness. It's just like instrumental madness. It's like all over the place. But it segues really nicely into What Will This Evening Bring Me This Morning, which sounds very 70s, very jazzy. It's an instrumental version of this. A very nice guitar solo coda during the "What Will I Say the Next Day," but that's done instrumentally. But a nice sort of guitar solo coda outro while that's happening, bringing some different energy to the album than we've had thus far. Next, we get a short little A Nun Suit painted on some old boxes. We get a Magic Fingers, which definitely is leaning more into a guitar solo. It's an instrumental version of that. You get some weird guitar, you get some weird keys, it's kind of chaotic, but you do get a nice guitar solo, and then you end with like a minute or so of sort of like Zappa weirdness, noises, things melting down, like a combination of like I'm So Cute and the very end of like Return of the Son of Monster Magnet, just that kind of weirdness going on at the end of Magic Fingers. That goes into the one thing that just doesn't completely work for me, Daddy, 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 which kind of disappoints me. This is by Dan Spanner. It's just not as free and loose and happy as a Daddy, Daddy, Daddy should be, though it does have some pretty good like woozy type horn work that adds a slightly like, not necessarily sleazy, but just kind of drunken aspect to it that kind of works. But it's the one song that kind of doesn't pop, and I'm a big fan of the song, so maybe that's why. Then we get, it's in Swedish, Penisens Storlek, Penis Dimension, a duet with Hans Anneliesen, a female singer, and Mats Oberg on piano. And so we get this, what is essentially a piano version of Penis Dimension with some awesome singing, some operatic singing going on in it. And that's just a spectacular set piece right there. Mats Oberg playing Penis Dimension. Absolutely fantastic. Then we get a short little Auntie Owl again. So we do get, Auntie Owl does all the weird, crazy instrumental stuff. I'm just now realizing. Yeah, all the weird, crazy instrumental short pieces are done by Auntie Owl. They do on the Newts We Got, Lucy's Seduction of a Bored Violinist and Postlude, a nun suit painted on some old boxes, and some little green scratchy sweaters and corduroy pants, which is probably why there's a cohesive element to all those pieces, and they're placed out so nicely. Then we get a piano version of Strictly Gentile, just a straight piano version of that is just absolutely fantastic. And then my other complaint is then we close out with a squats medley, as it's called. We get the She Painted Up Her Face in half a dozen. Squats melody, slight return. With the Muffin Men, which is all over the place. It's rock, it's crazy, it's eclectic, it's weird, it's madness, it's Zappa. But it almost feels unnecessary after the Strictly Gentile. I kind of wish they had either left it off because we already have these songs in different versions, or they had found a place to maybe just put it right after the other one and just let us have these 2 different experiences of this Shove It Right In trilogy. It's the one thing that doesn't work. I just don't think it's needed. And also the Muffin Men start off by saying, hey, it's the Muffin Man or something like that. And I'm like, you also shouldn't have given yourself a shout out. Nobody else gave himself a shout out. I don't know. So that's the only thing that kind of sits weird with me, but it's a fun, good version of these 2 songs. So the other artists I didn't name, the whole overture is the Franz Knopp Fusion Project, Mike Kidson. does Mystery Roach, Zero, Zero, does What's the Name of Your Group, Johnny Hawk and the Pavement Oysters does Would You Like a Snack, Burger and the Beast does the really fun Lonesome Cowboy Bert, and then everything else I'm pretty sure I mentioned. Oh, Treacherous Cretins does What Will This Evening Bring Me, really good guitar solo in that. Turbulator does Magic Fingers, we got that. Fred Handel does Strictly Genteel. So anyways, it's a good listen, people. I highly recommend you check it out, especially if you like 200 Motels. It is fun. It's enjoyable. It's re-listenable. It's quirky. It's kind of all over the map. It brings a lot of good Zappa flavors without kind of ever actually sounding exactly like Zappa. It just, the inspiration is in the music in the best way possible. Where would I put this? Right there. I'd put this at number 4. I really like the jam band aspect of Mars Vista, and then the M. Palermo and Ensemble Moderne are just untouchable. But the Would You Like a Snack? This is such an eclectic listen, such a fun listen, such a random listen. It provides so many different flavors. And there are so many really strong melodies that Frank had on this album that you are reminded of as you listen to it. That, again, another testament to just the power of Frank's writing. So anyways, thank you for watching. That's all I got. I highly recommend you check this album out. It is a really, really good listen. But yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you do check it out. Let me know your thoughts on it, all that kind of stuff. And peace. Talk to you later.